Hello, everyone. GM Admiral here, and I'm here to do a little creator review. I've heard that it's really, really good to take some time to reflect on things that you've done, things you've accomplished, things you're looking to do, and I want to share that with you all, along with some ups and downs along the way. Yeah, let's look back on all the things that I've been creating, of course, with teams of people that have been helping me out as well. And I'm sure that I won't be able to shout out everyone who was a part of every team, but they know who they are and they know how much I appreciate them and their mentorship and the stuff that I can learn, that I've learned from them. So we're going to start off the year. Now, the Kickstarter for Sentience actually started last year. But this year we've been really nose deep in fulfillment. We've been finishing off a couple of different books along the way. Sentience was a successful Kickstarter. We were funded in under 3 hours, and we were super excited with the amount of people that were supporting us. So, Sentience is a 2D20 program or game based off of the World Builders program for Modifius, and people are starting to get their books now. I've been seeing images online and people saying thanks and whatnot. So, first of all, was the Sentience Toolkit. Now, the toolkit I didn't do a lot in. However, this was basically where we decided we were going to set everything that we got for stretch goals from the Kickstarter. We decided that we were going to put right in this book. So we did start off with this cool cover with some of the new robot designs that we all fell in love with. Of course, we have the new dice logo. For those of you that are familiar with challenge dice on the Sentience or in 2D20 in general, we did add that new symbol to our dice, which was pretty cool. Of course, Sentience created by me. This module there's some stuff in here that I did. Bill Barbado did a lot of heavy lifting, as did Michael Dismuke. These are two of my friends and writing partners from Star Trek Adventures, and they were happy to be a part of Sentience, especially after they did a couple of live play demos. Design and layout says Yellow Hand. This is Jay Sedelius. He's way too modest with these type of things, but he is responsible for Sentience, how it looks as far as a design perspective goes. And I would still be on a Word document with headers and footers if it wasn't for Jay. And we had a bunch of artwork that we had done for this as well. So we started off with new roles. These were our initial stretch goals. I felt fairly confident that we were going to get to them, and we were hoping to add these 6 new roles to the game. Roles are basically what your robot was designed to do when they landed on the planet. And, this gives us the more mechanical side of the protocols and the programs that you were given when you landed. Of course, after you choose your role, you then go through a life path after you awaken to learn what your emotions are and your values are and things like that. So we were able to get all 6 of the new roles in here. This transporter is hilarious. And then I did some pre-gens for everyone here, just on the regular character sheets to show what they could look like. The pre-gens do look different in the core rulebook, as you'll see momentarily. And then after this, we had Virtues of the Digitized Soul. So Michael Dismuke came to me with this idea of, it's a very spiritual idea of what makes us human, what makes us special. And he wanted to drill down deep into some of these positive aspects that robot kind might be experiencing and exploring. And so he put together 10 what we call adventure briefs, and they're basically 1-page scenarios. We don't put all of the nitty-gritty mechanics in here. This is for people that are familiar with the 2D20 system and can throw things together. This is very similar to the Star Trek Adventures mission brief template, and we have 10 of these in here. So super, super cool by Michael Dismuke to do this for us. He was also the lead producer, the executive producer on the Sentience project in general. So it was awesome to have him on board. And then we also have a full adventure in here called Some Dance to Remember, Some Dance to Forget. I have run this on YouTube, so if you search out on YouTube, there's a couple of different sessions where I've run this for people posted there. And this was written by Bill Barbado, who is the Final Frontiersman on YouTube. Go follow him. He does awesome videos. And Bill just fell in love with the concept of sentience. And this is a story about essentially like what does drug addiction look like in a robot society, which I think is super cool to tackle that type of concept in a game setting. Of course, we got some new art here that Jay helped find and tweak and fit the color scheme and all that. And of course, Norlo, gotta love him. He's very unassuming, but yeah, this is a great adventure, very emotional. I've now run it twice and can't wait to run it again. And so that's the gist of that toolkit. It's designed to be a Kickstarter exclusive, so you won't see all of these things together in a booklet ever again. We may decide to release them separately as individual PDFs, but we have not set a date on that or decided when that's going to happen. So the second book that was released in the Kickstarter, this is Chronicles of the Awakening, and this is basically a collection of adventures. And I believe, and I kept the Jim Johnson's forward from the old digital, I think we called it Tales of the Awakening, that had, I think, 4 adventures in it. This one has 9 adventures. We did carry over the adventures from Tales from the Awakening on here, so really it's 5 new adventures. But we talk a little bit about what the Awakening is about. And then we get to Circuit Breakers. This is another contribution by Michael Dismuke. If you've ever seen Point Break and enjoy thrill seeking, this adventure is for you. There are rules here for characters to push themselves to their limits, to see how they would react in a scenario. Very, very cool. And also you get to build like a superhero headquarters, which is awesome. So yeah, Michael did a great job on that. This is Night of the Comet. Jesse Robitis did this, a buddy of mine since middle school. And he wanted to do one more adventure. Unfortunately, life gets in the way, and we chatted about it, and we'll save it for another time. But he's really big on these, these catastrophic events. And Night of the Comet actually starts with a little catastrophic event and then turns into like a horror type story. This is the only, I think, horror type adventure in the game right now, and it's really, really cool. Execute Directive, Michael McRae, he's actually joined up with the Yellow Hand. He's going to be doing some 3D modeling for us, and he's going to help do some writing when he can. And this is about a rogue AI that has determined that sentience is an error that needs to be erased. Very, very cool final battle with a swarm of nanites, which I think will be a fun one. Storm's Wake, this was written by Nick Walco. Again, this was in the Tales from the Awakening adventure book. Again, a giant storm comes through and all power starts going out. And when you find out why, it's pretty darn cool. Deals with eco-terrorism, essentially. This one is so cool. Aaron Paulier, he is another writer from Star Trek Adventures, and he offered to write this adventure for me. It's essentially dealing with how do robots deal with death, not deactivation, but death. And it's a really cool, kind of solemn, internalizing type adventure where you follow the story of this kind of robot that did their own thing. And of course, radiation becomes a big problem. Streets at Night, this was written by me. This was the last adventure in Tales from the Awakening. This is basically Fast and the Furious, gone in 60 seconds. Super cool. And I've run that multiple times, and people always have a blast with it. You can actually find that on YouTube as well, a couple of my live streams. Echoes of Humanity by Troy Mepians. He has written for Star Trek Adventures. He also created the Ashland 2D20 game, which we're going to talk a little bit more about in a few minutes. And he wrote, basically, you find a remnant of humanity with a hologram, and robots get to reflect upon what that means. Companions, this was from the original core rulebook. We took it out because Alison Seib wrote like this massive 2 to 3 session long adventure that we wanted in the core rulebook, and we didn't want it to be here. Dealing with pets and robots. Very, very cool there. And of course, Stray Code. This was original Quick Start adventure. One of the first ones that I ran. That bucket wheel excavator encounter is always hilarious. And this is again reflecting on what does it mean when humanity returns. We did put in the pre-generated characters here, so someone can actually just play right out of this booklet if they have an understanding of the 2D20 rules. So that was a good one. And then the core rulebook ended up being 220 pages, I believe, when all was said and done. We got the new cover, and I got a foreword from Jonathan Kahn herself, who is the Healer DM online. Please go search him out. He does amazing work with D8 charities, or D8 Summit charities. Yeah, he is a spectacular individual. He is a counselor and is all about therapeutic gaming and things like that. So I had him write in here a little bit about how does role-playing in the world of sentience kind of move us toward that therapeutic type idea. Hello, Bot. This is Jay Sedelius' idea. I love him. He is spectacular. So you'll see, at least in the opening chapter, some banter from Hello, Bot. We're probably going to keep him around as we move into further projects. And then we got to Aaron Pollier's section on what the heck happened? How did the robots end up here? So he's got a narrative here through a timeline piece. And then after we land and the awakening happens, this is where I started taking over and writing a little bit about it. But you'll notice that we'll talk about post-awakening and before awakening. So BA is before awakening, PA is post-awakening. We get a little timeline that goes down the side of all these as well. Return of Humanity, we don't know when they're coming, but we've definitely given you the seeds and ammunition to use them if you wish. Spectacular new map. We decided to go in. One of the biggest pieces of feedback I heard from the initial Sentience book was that we need to know what to do. Where are we living? How's it going? And I realized that I should have put that in there initially. And so we've got a map with tons of locations, which is spectacular. And then finally, Aaron Pollier again. We talk about the planetary system and what sort of planets are there and other objects are there, because maybe the robots can get into space and do some cool things. So otherwise, this is all pretty much the same as the original core rulebook, except for that initial section. We did clean up some rules, clarifications, a little bit of editing and whatnot. And then we added Alison Seib's Union Strike adventure, which is an adventure that she wrote for Dungeons and Dragons. And I kind of put her on alert. I was like, hey, this sounds like something that would be perfect for sentience. Do you think you could convert it? And she ended up doing it pretty easily. It's pretty awesome. And, complete with, oh, this is awesome too. The layers of emotions. That's something that you'll love to dig into. We added a lot more NPCs and monsters and well, not monsters, but robots that you can use in your game. Some of them are pretty scary. Some of the art is spectacular, but yeah, there's the Union Strike cover, which is just spectaculer. Like if I saw that on a shelf by itself, I would have so many questions and want to buy just that. Yeah, so this is this is probably a 2 or 3 session adventure to go through, which is great. And then complete with a map, and yeah, look, we're still going here. And then we got the original pre-gens in here as well. Again, we got the other pre-gens in as well. Cool. So we have 12 pre-generated characters in this core rulebook for you. and a few adventure briefs written by myself that are based around the basically the seven deadly sins. So anyway, very proud of this project. I didn't reflect upon it enough when it happened. Now that like Jay has finished getting the shipping out and whatnot, it's really been coming down. Now, what I can say is that during that time, I was also working on, when we were doing the sentience thing, I was also working on multiple Star Trek Adventures things happening. Um, so we did do the Star Trek Adventures starter set. It technically released last year, but it came out. Everybody was able to get it this year. So I worked on the second adventure in that booklet. Worked with Michael Dismuke and Merrick Moyer on this. So I was pretty excited about that. And then the big one that is now just dropping at stores is the Star Trek Adventures Technical Manual, which is so cool, and that was really fun to write. I got to do the medical department and the engineering department, so I got to talk a lot about different tools, different yeah. It was so fun, but it was a lot of research, so it took a lot of time to get all that information. I've also been working on a couple other Star Trek Adventures um, things as well that I can't talk about. So at about this time, the Sentience Kickstarter, we're doing the backer kit and all that stuff. I'm writing this stuff for Star Trek Adventures. I was contacted by John Houlihan from Octung Cthulhu, and he asked if I would like to write an adventure for my first time writing for him, and I said absolutely. Now this art is not from the adventure, however, there is a lot of snow around, so I did get to write for the Norway project. So I can't say much more than that, but I did write an adventure in it. He was very excited about what I put together for him, so I'm excited for that to drop. It'll probably be at the end of this year. Now, all this starts happening, and we're finishing up the Sentience backer kit and whatnot, and I'm just getting worn out. And this is when I realized I was really burnt out on on writing. It was starting to become. I mean, this is all I've been like. This has been my spare time for the last 4 or 5 years. Um, it all goes into my writing, and so I realized that it wasn't really fun anymore. And I was looking at doing a couple of other projects for the Yellow Hand, and every time I like sat down to do it, I just got like this block in my head, and it took me time before I realized this is what burnout is. So I decided I was going to take this month of June off from writing altogether. And in that time, I actually was able to finish a little something that I was working on with Aaron Pollier, which is called Redacted. Redacted is a role-playing game, a 1950s sci-fi role-playing game, where you postulate what would happen if the Roswell UFO crash was real, and we decided to build technology around it. And it's being released alongside Saucer Squadron, which is a miniatures game. So I was excited. I was get that almost completely done at the end of May, so that I could take June off from writing to try to recover from this burnout. Just today, I sat down and I put out a bunch of content for the Redacted. We're very close to being finished with that that project as well. So I took 3 weeks off. We went to with me and the family. We went to Buffalo and Rochester, New York, and we went to the Herkimer Diamond Mine. It was really nice to just get away and relax with the family. We got to go to Niagara Falls and all that fun stuff. And while I was there, I got to play some Overpower. So this is another cool new thing that I've become involved with. Some of you have seen some of my videos on my YouTube. And while I'm not working for the people that are creating the game, Lazarus Rising Games, I don't have a contract with them or anything like that. One of my really good friends is one of the owners of the company, and I'm fully supportive of him. I used to play Overpower way back in the day. So Joe Guy and Pan, he told me that he was relaunching the game, and I was like, no, you're not. And he's like, yeah, seriously. And then I saw all this stuff that they've done, their Kickstarter for the Edgar Rice Burroughs set, and then they announced they've got this Invincible and Walking Dead set coming. And so like I offered to help where I could, and that was initially putting together their learn to play rule book, which I said we need to get pictures in here, we need to get diagrams, right? Because you can't assume that people that are going to buy this game played it 20, 30 years ago, right? In the late 90s. We have to build this game for a new community. So I looked at a couple of different like learn to play rule books, like Pokemon specifically, lots of colors, lots of arrows, and lots of images. So we did that for the learn to play guide. I helped them with that. And recently, I just offered to help out there. We're putting together a style guide so that language from card to card matches and makes sense phonetically and all that fun stuff. So that what we recognized was that in a 500 card set, it's really easy to miss that two cards do the same thing but have different wording. So I'm going to be helping out with that. I'll be doing some play testing of the Invincible and Walking Dead set as well. I've also been helping these guys out. We did PAX East together, and I'm hoping to help them at New York Comic Con and PAX Unplugged as well. So this is all during the few months where I'm like, I'm burnt out and need to take a break. So now I'm back in. Like I started writing this morning, and oh my gosh, it felt so good. Like just to, I had a couple of things. I did a play test for the Redacted role-playing game. I knew I needed to tweak a couple of those things, so I went ahead and did that. So what does the rest of the year look like? Well, that's a really good question. So I do think that I offered to help Troy with Ashland, the 2D20 game. We're going to be releasing some books based around the three factions in there. And I was really drawn to the Oceanicans. So we're going to be doing, underwater scientific-based society that has survived this collapse of the world because of essentially all the volcanoes erupted at once. And this is, if you go back and look at the lore, it's because we were mining so much in the Earth's crust, we destabilized it, and there was one comet strike that just basically had the Earth regurgitate everything that was inside of it. It was called the Blaze, and three different factions were able to survive, and I'm going to be able to write one of the books about that. I have the outline roughly figured out. I started with the adventure that's going to go in there. So this will probably be my main focus over the next month or two. I'm expecting that I will get maybe another Star Trek Adventures project soon, or another Octung Cthulhu adventure soon. That'd be really cool. But if I don't get them, I've got plenty of my own stuff to work on. The other thing that I really want to work on with Jay is Jay Sedelius has been really knocking it out of the park with Tales of Menace and Mystery. This is basically a pulp era action adventure type game. And I was able to write a couple of different regions in here, just a couple of pages, and I just got so into it. So I'm hoping that I can find a way to work on a future project with this year. I've got a couple of ideas, and we've looked at a lot of those as well. Things that we've talked about that probably won't be happening this year. There's been talks of doing an Age of Sail role-playing game at the Yellow Hand. I just don't see it being on the calendar for this year. It's probably a late next year thing. And of course, I still have Sentience and Once Upon to do some stuff for as well. Sentience, I have something that I'm currently calling the Walkabout Guide, and I've got an outline for it. And this is basically about exploring the planet outside of the city of New Dawn. So what does Gliese 667 B look like, or C look like? And how do you survive out there, right? And I'm doing it as part of the walkabouts that we see in Australia and things like that, as a way to find out who you are and search the soul and see what you're capable of. So that might be something that I'll work on before the end of this year. Once Upon, I think I've got a couple of ideas of things that I want to add to that, and I know Jay Sedelius has a couple of adventures that he wants to work on that for that as well. So I'd like to get a release for each of those out before the end of the year. Um, that said, it all depends what other work I end up with. I did last night apply to Brotherwise Games. They did an all call for writers. So they're the ones that are helping out with the Sanderson, Stormlight, and Mistborn and whatnot. And so they put out an all call for a new project that they're working on with Sanderson's like one shot books. So there's a chance that maybe I'll get something there as well to work on. So anyway, I'm continuing to put up videos on my YouTube. It's, if you found this video, you've likely found it there. I'm sure there's something that you might like there. I'm doing some overpower videos. I'm doing some box opening videos. And yeah, and now we have this here reflection. So I just want to thank everyone that supported me in my process here, and writing games is what I've always wanted to do all my life, and now I feel like I've been successful at that. And I would love to see where I can take it even further. Some of the skills I've learned from like Jim Johnson as a project manager, and from some of the others that I've worked with in Star Trek Adventures and Sentience now, I feel like I'm on a precipice, so to speak, where I could start moving more towards designing games, even maybe not as a career, but as a lot bigger part of my life. Right now it's a fun, happy, pleasure project. Really, is all my writing. Right, it's my me time. It's my time to decompress, and I'm happy that I'm in a mindset where I can do that again. Because I'll tell you what, 2 months ago I was not. I was really struggling, and it wasn't fun to me. But when I started typing this morning, let me tell you, it's great. So those of you out there who have suffered burnout, or you feel like your writing is now becoming a job and not fun, I would recommend take a few weeks off. Like, take some time for yourselves, take some time for your family. This is there are going to be plenty of games coming out for the next, dozens of years. And you don't need to rush towards yours in a clouded mindset, or just because it's a job. You need to take time for yourself, and regulate your thoughts, and regulate your body. And yeah, and let me tell you, I think that if you can do that, you'll be much, much better thereafter. Like, my mindset is I just want to write now nonstop, right? I've been missing it. Like, when I missed writing, and that was something that I hadn't experienced before. So anyway, for those of you that have listened to the end here, I'm not, I've learned a little bit about social emotional learning as a teacher that I apply with my kids at school. I'm not a counselor, I'm not a therapist or anything like that, but I can say this: after experiencing a month of, or a couple of months of just serious writing burnout, taking the time for myself to do things I enjoy, to be with my family, has just cleared my mind, and it's re-inspired me to create more. So anyway, if you get into that mindset, it's okay to take time. Just because you say no to a freelance opportunity on this project doesn't mean that more opportunities aren't going to come, right? You need to be in the best mindset to do your best. And if you're just taking project after project after project, and it feels like a job, I guarantee you're not at your best. So anyway, thank you for listening this long. Like and subscribe to the channel if you wish. Feel free to reach out if you want to play any games or do any demos, or if you're looking for any writing, freelance writing. I'm sure that I can find time for it now that I have, mostly recovered from the burnout that I was experiencing. So anyway, take care. I love you all. I appreciate all your support, and happy gaming.